crazy yet. We've been seeing a lot of early pick Leshrac recently. I think that could be interesting.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Earth Spirit.
Slardar to open things. Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one.
Remaining.
Just by picking the Slardar, you have to think about banning some of the physical damage heavy heroes, the Phantom Assassin, the Templar Assassin, maybe even a Drow Ranger. But the Earth Spirit as an answer, Earth Spirit is one of those heroes who has some flexibility as to how it can be played. But normally, it is that position 4, and as the position 4, you do have the freedom to get on the map and get a lot going for your team, try and get your core snowballing. But the IO being picked up here, this is a very interesting one. IO plus Slaughter is something that Neon have run multiple times, and they actually put the IO on the core position 1 role every now and then. So we'll see if Execration have taken any pages out of their book.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Vengeful Spirit pickup is an interesting one. Vengeful Spirit is a hero who tends to go quite well with this Slardar. Gives you some nice offensive, defensive
10
utility.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So taking that away is nice. Also does make you think about certain things, such as the Drow Ranger in the draft.
Team ban.
So you're always going to be, limiting your enemy's options when it comes to these second phase bans.
Seconds remaining.
Now, as it stands, Vice
5 seconds.
almost certainly having picked up both of their supports, but we do see the Vengeful Spirit as a core every now and then. Often in the offlane role.
Dire team ban.
Troll Warlord ban coming out here. Is Execration trying to go for a cheeky Spectre pick?
10 seconds.
We've seen Spectre being one of the most contested heroes, but some teams are happy to let it go through and instead try for a counter pick, such as with a Viper. Now the IO has a lot of good partners. Viper is actually one of them.
Radiant team ban.
We think of the IO being a hero who's pretty much attached to a partner of choice. But you can sort of swap between partners during different stages of the game. In an early on stage, Slaughter plus IO is actually pretty strong. Slaughter, very good trading with the right clicks, and IO with the heals, with the sustain is going to be pretty good at that. Slaughter needs a lot of mana too. And then later on in the game, that's perhaps where maybe you can have the IO just swapping out for a better late game carry while winning the lane with the Slaughter first.
Dire team ban. Dire team pick.
That's going to be the Spectre ban. No surprises there. We'll see if Vice indeed want to go for the Drow Ranger. Execration, having not banned it out, I'm sure will be ready to play against it. But the Elder Titan coming out here. Elder Titan, deceptively strong with the minus armor if he's able to close in. And obviously of the 3 heroes that we see now, one of them has to be a core. Really not too sure what the plan is going to be, but the ET amping up physical damage at melee range, amping up magical damage with the Spirit
Dire team pick.
can lead into some very high damage picks afterwards. Execration, they're going to show the Undying, but that means free strength heroes. Free strength heroes going to be kited around by the Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger, no surprises there. The Undying does not help you close the distance onto the Drow whatsoever. Now, playing the Drow into an IO Slardar sometimes can be tricky.
Radiant team ban.
Just by nature, they have a lot of mobility. But Execration, they're going to go for the head-on approach. Not looking to jump on top of this Drow Ranger. They're just looking to have a lot of damage, a lot of tankiness sitting up front.
Dire team
I think they do have to take out the Timber Soul, though. We saw the power of the Timber Soul in our previous series, and it works just as well against the Slaughter Undying. The Leshrac you can kind of deal with by picking up an early Hood as well. I think that's exactly what they need to protect the Drow Rangers, just having him on the front lines.
5 seconds. Radiant team ban.
Gyrocopter ban coming out here. Not a very common hero these days, but it is one of the classic combinations with the IO. Very strong early on, just being able to trade up front very aggressively using his
10
abilities.
seconds remaining.
And then later on, you benefit a lot from the
5
survivability
seconds
and
remaining.
mobility that the IO gives you. We'll see. I really do think Vice have got a nice setup. I think they're happy with the draft so far. But at the same time, Execration,
Ban.
I'm sure they knew this draft was coming. So they've taken, their solution to it, and we'll just see whose theory is better.
Radiant team
Arc Warden, I think, could be a good hero against the Drow Ranger, but then you sometimes struggle against an Earth Spirit closing the distance. It is very greedy. But if you have an Arc Warden plus an IO, it's pretty much impossible to finish the game against you, and you have so much rat potential coming out.
10 seconds remaining.
Could just go for something along the lines of a
5
Terrorblade.
seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Phantom
It's going to be the Phantom Assassin. Was a very obvious hero to go for with the Slardar. But we'll see. I personally don't like PA into Vengeful Spirit, and PA into Drow is, on paper, a very good match if you jump right on top of her. She can't really fight back. But you've got a lot of good heroes on the side of Vice when it comes to kiting around the enemy, and this is going to be a core Vengeful Spirit. So she's not going to be an easy target to go for either. When Enryu playing this, the Filipino teams do run the offlane Vengeful Spirit every now and then. And I overall actually prefer the Vice lineup. I think the Wind Ranger has a very good matchup into both the Leshrac and the Phantom Assassin. They're both heroes that you can just pew down. They don't have much to help them in terms of survivability. Yes, the PA does have evasion, but hard countered by the MKB of the Wind Ranger. I think this last pick and Vice are very happy. If you go into their Discord right now and just ask them, are you feeling good about their draft? 100%, all of them answered yes. Of course, you can't really count out an IO team. There's always a lot of potential with the IO. High skill cap hero, not only for the hero playing it, but also for the team to play around well. Really does test a team's coordination, communication, really does test their ability to make use of vision and sort of interpret the flow of the game. On paper, Vice perhaps a bit favored, seeing as they have beaten teams that Execration have drawn against. But once again, we're back in sea, we're back in the Philippines. Both these guys know each other. And anything can happen in a series such as this. I don't mind having favorites. And if Vice are able to take an undefeated win here, I don't mind seeing that at all. We saw Galaxy Racer, as well as Neon, go up to 3 games, 3 series, 2-0. Vice have also done that. Now they're on their 4th series. Can they protect it? We'll see. No matter what, I think they do have a decent chance of making it into the playoffs. And honestly, the Southeast Asian side of things does seem to be quite strong right now. Gonna be going for a bit of a cheeky play. Vice leading in with the Elder Titan. He's just gonna be checking for vision here. Won't be able to find anything, just runs into a couple of heroes. DMG gonna be taking mid lane. Zenki is gonna get taken down. Trying very hard to secure that vision, but hey, ends up falling his first blood. Execration, they'll gladly take that one. Do expect to see a lot of smack talk. That is their God-given right. Expect to see a lot of... We can't really do aggressive tipping anymore, but... Should be an interesting match, should be a fun match. RR trying to trade against Samael. And the Undying wins pretty much any 1 versus 1 against pretty much any strength hero. So that shouldn't even be close here. In fact, it's getting to the point where the Earth Spirit might be a bit concerned. He is going to be trying his best to cut the wave, but it means he'll be taking a lot of harass once again from the Undying. Now, personally, I do like the Wind Rangers matchup into the Leshrac, not necessarily in lane. I think for the most part, you should be able to find farm to secure those last hits with a power shot, make sure they don't get denied. And from there, try and get into an early MKB. And the MKB timing, I think, is going to be pretty important. If you're able to get to a point where you can cut down the Leshrac or the Phantom Assassin easily before they deal their damage, it's going to be very hard for Execration to fight around.
Has been killed. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Nice D-board coming out here from RR. In fact, he's going to D-board his own ward because he actually just wants this camp unblocked. It's a bit counterintuitive, but it's something you can do these days with your own sentries being deboardable. Makes it quite hard to block out camps, actually. There used to be some spots where it was basically 50-50 as to whether you get warded out by, but no longer the case. You can just plop the sentry in the middle of the creep camp spawn box. Drow Ranger is doing pretty well in terms of last hits and denies, but at some point I would expect DMG to start trading quite aggressively. We're going to get a second kill in this bottom lane. Vice bleeding out 2 supports just like that. And you don't want your PA to snowball. PO probably going to be going for a Battle Fury build. Early Battle Fury always spells trouble. And we are seeing that aggression coming out here. DMG, very tanky on the Slaughter, just naturally high base stats. And with all the regen coming in from the IO, he should have a decent time in this lane. And just more kills happening in the bottom lane as well. And we losing the Vengeful Spirit, as well as the Earth Spirit. The power of the early Tombstone if it's not taken down. And the slows, the damage, the mobility of the Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin is not necessarily a strong laner, but is a good hero when it comes to chasing down kills in the early stages of the game. Ooh, Shackle shot off a creep here. Bob, is he going to be able to pick up a kill? He is going to be taking a lot of damage in return, and the bottle regen is enough to keep Palace alive. Sorry, not Palace. Palace is the one who dies. Actually, no, Ken turns it around in the mid lane as well. So many kills happening. 7 kills, and we're not even 4 minutes in. All of them on the side of Execration. Quite clearly, it's looking pretty good for them because they're getting kills in every single lane. They're killing not just the supports, but the cores as well. 4-minute rune coming up. It is going to be bottom. That's a bit unfortunate for Leshrac, but it's not like he's going to get taken down. Pull is coming in here. Not too sure what that's about. I do have to say, Vice, if they fall behind a Leshrac who's ahead, it really just goes back to the damage trade, the interaction between the Leshrac and the Wind Ranger. The Leshrac is just one of those heroes, if you can't kill him, he deals so much damage and he'll be able to kill you. And that's where, the focused right-click damage, the single target damage coming out is a pretty good counter to him. Whereas, say, stuns are not. You stun the Leshrac, his ultimate still keeps running. We're pulling ahead in kills, we're also pulling ahead in CS. Another death onto the Vengeful Spirit.
Radiant are scanning.
And Joe, he's having a pretty good time. It's definitely going to be an early Battle Fury from him. Level 5, 4 minutes in as well, compared to level 3 on the bench. Roll in from Samael does not connect. Honestly, I think, you would have been fine anyway. We've got the 5-minute runes coming up.
This should make my life easier.
Going to be able to grab every single rune here on the Radiant. That's pretty big. Already seeing a 3k net worth advantage 5 minutes into the game. That is about as large as you will ever see. Means that multiple lanes have to be going very well for one team. Leshrac now hitting level 6. The Shackle shot once again, dealing a lot of damage into the power shot. We do have a TP coming in. But Samael, overestimating the aggression, will not connect on that roll. And Leshrac, he will survive. He will be fine. He'll just be off, farming up some creeps. There's no problems there. Six-minute runes coming in. This could be a very big moment, but once again, we will miss on the roll. Nice 2-man Shackle shot, however, that's going to be pretty big. No way for BDZ to avoid that one. That's just one of the disadvantages of playing the IO. And honestly, I think this is a very good Wind Ranger last pick. Very good matchup, I think, it's every single hero in this game. Non-Shackle shot is definitely a big part of it. Well, finally trading back a couple of kills. Going to be keeping Execration in check before they snowball too crazy.
Dire are scanning.
Shackle shot? Not actually connecting, but that's okay. With the body blocks, they might still be to take down RR. Double damage does help a bit. They will be able to get the kill, but Ken able to get 2 kills in return. Obviously not worth it into Sleshak. As long as he has enough mana, he deals so much damage this early on. And, you know, looking at the kills, that's one thing, but that's also a lot of manpower committed from Vice, from both teams for that matter. Means that the cores in the other lanes are going to be getting extra EXP, which generally speaking is good for heroes such as the Drow Ranger, but Drow Ranger under some pressure. There is a Slaughter under her tower. 3 heroes joining up, though, from Execration. Slaughter gets hit by a shackle shot and will be able to survive thanks to the IO tethering in. And Bobby's doing his best, but there's just so much damage coming out from this Leshak once again. Not quite going to go down just yet. I think it is only a matter of time, however. They do have vision, they do have the tombstone. Bob trying to cut himself away through the trees. Eventually will get chased down by those tombstones, who do move faster when the target is low HP.
Dire structures are fortified.
And how convenient, a tier 1 tower for me as a Leshak with Diabolic Edict, not bad. Sure, I'll take that any day of the week.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yo goes in, tries to take down Samael, but he's surviving for quite some time. He will get stunned up at nice disjoint using the blur. Haste Rune allows him to get in and get out.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Honestly, Execration, they're still on track for a pretty good snowball victory. Top 4 net worth. My goodness, even the Undying has got more gold than the Wind Ranger. And Palace, he's been struggling in this lane quite. And Zanki will be able to get a nice stun. We're trying to focus down BDZ, will be successful. Phantom Assassin, though, coming in looking for revenge. DMG down in the bottom lane, he's actually pretty close to a Blink Dagger himself. He is hiding in the trees, Bob gonna be trying to hunt him down. But Yo is successful in his assassination attempt, DMG. No TP to get out of there, will get focused down eventually. We'll see if they can actually threaten this tower, however. Execration, they're going to have to relocate out very soon. IO's still level 5. But getting solo EXP in mid lane is, I think, going to bring them to level 6. They're going to have a lot of options moving around the map. Leshak, he's going into the enemy jungle, going to be trying to steal away some stacks, and I really don't know what Palace can do to try and stop this. He's going to show himself, is going to get most of those last hits towards the end. With Bob showing up, they can't get aggressive onto him. But Vice for sure feeling the heat.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Leshak going for the very early boots of travel. It's the greedy build. It lets you get around. You already have the IO for global movement. And this allows you to have pretty much a global paratrooper squad. If the Slaughter, who's about to have a blink, finds a nice target, get relocated on, you'll get boots of traveled on. And it's not going to be pretty. Does mean that the Leshak moves very fast. Also does mean that he doesn't have that utility, no way to get rid of a silence, such as the Yules, no easy setup for a stun. Really will be relying on the Slaughter, but guess what, Slaughter, no problems there. Ooh, this is big though. Relocate does bring in BDZ to help out, and with that, he'll be able to survive against the aggression of Zenki. And just continues farming. Net worth lead is only up to 5k, hasn't really grown. I think you can be happy knowing that your Phantom Assassin is going to have a pretty well-timed Battle Fury, nice pin. Once again, Bob really comfortable on this hero. Will be able to get the solo kill. But here comes that Leshrac going for the chase. They're going to have vision out. The Wind Ranger, can she get out in time? I think if you ever eat a split earth or the split earth is missed, actually no, they're not going to bother. They're just going to relocate mid. So far, Vice seem to be able to disengage. Enview goes in. This is extremely aggressive from him. They don't really have the numbers. Ken is just so damn strong. How are you ever going to fight through this IO healing as well? Bit ambitious, but so was the Tombstone being placed on the high ground, on the wrong high ground, I guess. If he had placed it on the other side of the river, that might have made a little more sense. Has been delayed quite a bit by that death, but DMG, he will have the Blink Dagger, and this is where the game begins.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
He's going to be
attack.
constantly looking for fights, constantly looking for an angle where his team can relocate in. Now, our Wind Ranger is working towards the MKB. It's not going to be a particularly fast MKB. If you look at net worth, it's quite clear that he's not doing particularly well. And sometimes that's where you worry, you know, the Wind Ranger against the Leshrac. It's kind of a snowbally matchup in the sense that they both just have pure damage. You really want to be able to kill the other quickly. 13-minute Battle Fury here on top of the treads for RPA. That is not good news. And with that Blink Dagger immediately going for a smoke up. Any target is a good target, I think. Killing the Drow especially would be nice. They see the TPs coming into the mid lane. Vice, they're going to be getting aggressive. Can they actually take down the Leshrac quickly? In comes that blink at the heal. It started to come online. They will be able to kill Leshrac eventually, but it costs so much HP. And yo, he's in this fight as well. He's got that battle for. He's able to get a nice couple of kills with it. Oh, chasing on forward. The Drow Ranger has to be very careful to blink. Slardar, he has that mobility. The IO providing the healing to help him tank under tower. All Palace can do is run. Samael comes in trying to save him, but actually chucks the Undying forward. Not too sure if that was what you wanted. That's going to be the full team wipe. Samael, no way to get out of there. And all of this aggression is supported by Execration having this IO constantly healing them up. DMG not skipping a beat. Full HP, farming the enemy ancient stacks. It's only a 7k net worth advantage, but it feels so much more than that. Execration momentum well in their favor. Their Phantom Assassin snowballing out of control. You know, at least the Leshrac has been taken down a couple of notches, despite having a pretty good start in lane. So that's all right. But once you get the full trio of items, the trifecta of items on this Phantom Assassin, Battle Fury, Desolator, BKB, I think that's where Vice are really going to run into problems. And once again, they're going for the smoke. Execration know that the game is theirs for the taking. No reason to let the Drow sit back and farm.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Going to be showing Ken in the front lines here, just trying to bait out a reaction. Phantom Assassin will be finding the Wind Ranger, but they don't quite have the vision to support a deep relocate.
Dire are scanning.
Earth Spirit, a hero who can do a lot in the early mid game, but if you fall behind, this hero does not do much later on. You know, he's very mobile, and he does have a low cooldown stun, but that's about it. And BKB counters this hero so hard, definitely on a timer.
Dire's top tower.
And this Phantom Assassin's so ridiculously farmed. Going to be getting in onto Roshan, actually, and Roshan is extremely quickly. I mean, we might not even have to look over. We just know that they go into the pit, and a couple seconds later, that's just a dead Rosh. Minus armor, great. Ken is even saving on his mana. Leshrac, with his spells, does a significant amount of damage to Rosh as well. But they will be able to take it. It's just too fast. Vice, they have no way of contesting. Elder Titan, in theory, is very good, but even if you slow it down, I think they just know they're too far behind to actually try and go in and take a fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is
And the second you get the corrosive haze on you, you are marked for death. This Phantom Assassin will kill you with a single crit. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it other than run away. The best that the Vice can do at the moment is to go for the split push. And that is the plan, but TPing back the Slaughter, if he finds a good crush, there's going to be a relocate. There's going to be the Boots of Travel from the Leshak, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Everyone TPing down bottom to relocate as well. They actually haven't found any kills, though. Well, just Zenki, but I don't consider that to be a particularly impactful kill. And Palace, he's showing up. This is a very risky move from him. But they know the relocate's going to be taking 2 back. Their solution is to fight on the other side of the map. You've used all of your mobility to come down here. We'll come up to you. We'll see if they can chase it down. Nice pin once again. That is just the nature of playing IO against the Wind Ranger. They should be able to kill the PA afterwards. That is also very big. Just slowing down the PA. Vice bringing it back somewhat. But the Desolator pickup, still very fast. Still 9k in favor of Execration. Of course, the alternate reality is Vice are already losing a team fight, losing tier 3 towers and Raxes. So this is definitely the better alternative for them. But it's still a long road to recovery. You do need a lot of items on the Drow Ranger to be able to fight up against the Phantom Assassin. I actually think this is a pretty good game for a Drow Ranger E-Blade. Sounds strange, you know, having a primarily physical damage hero build an E-Blade, but you benefit a lot from the agility. It's actually a very cost-efficient stat item. And the disarm is nice against the PA. Going to be TPing into the mid lane here. Leshak trying to join the fight. They will be losing there and dying, but the Eagle Scepter is such an easy setup into the stun. There's no way Vice will be getting kills for free. It's still okay though. I mean, generally speaking, even kill trades are better for the team that is behind. We do have the MKB finally being picked up. It's not a super fast MKB, but it comes online before the Phantom Assassin has her BKB, and that is always big. It means that the PA, if you dive into a fight and you don't have a Slaughter or getting a big crush, you will actually get focused down, but they do need vision of you. And vision is quite hard when the enemy's smoked up. That is exactly how that works. Elder Titan in a bit of a funny spot, however, going for a warding mission of his own. And he's going to get caught behind enemy lines. He's going to die. The rest of his team, it seems like they want to go for a fight. Or not. Just going to be rolling out on Samael. Oh no, they've caught out the Drow Ranger. Drow Ranger swaps to safety, but PA gets right onto her. 1 crit puts her in the grave. Well, nice shackle shot once again coming out onto the IO. Focus fire is pretty good, but the mech, it will allow the IO to survive. And they take down Bob, who was the main damage source with that fresh MKB. It's the full team wipe here. Execration showing no mercy. Vice just kind of getting caught with their pants down, it seems. Lanes did not go well. Drow Ranger fell behind. And a Drow Ranger that falls behind against the Phantom Assassin, that's honestly not great. If you're ahead as the Drow, it's actually a pretty good matchup in my opinion. You get a nice and early Hurricane Pike, you somehow still keep your distance. You get an early E-Blade, you just kite around PA. But that's obviously not happening this time around. Whew, 13k net worth lead here. All we've seen today are 2-0 stomps. Is this going to be a third series like that? Vice going into this, you know, I want to say, just looking at the stats, perhaps slightly favored. But, I mean, these teams know each other better than I ever could hope to do so. Roll in here from our Earthspirit. But top lane, they're getting onto the Drow. We'll see if our Earthspirit finds success on the other side of things. Apparently not. They get multiple low HP heroes, but they can't finish off any kills. DMG able to survive with his BKB. And really, we're just going through the motions here. This game has been all but decided. Frankly, if Vice come back, it will have to be through a miracle. They just have no options out on the map either. It's not like they can outsplit push an IO and a Leshrac with beats of travel.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Just the cold.
Dire's
Well, actually,
top barracks
seeing
are
as
under
there's no
attack.
winter in Philippines, probably the fairly warm fingers of Execration
Dire's top
closing around their necks.
Dire's middle tower is under
20k
attack.
net worth advantage, and Vice going for the desperation smoke here. This is absolutely a Hail Mary, but I don't see what else they do. As I was saying, you can't split the map. They've got Ice here, swapping in Ken. This could be a massive kill. He's a big source of damage, but do they have the ability to actually focus him down? He's somehow just tanking through all of it. BDZ only just tethering to him. And Bob with the focus fire. Just can't get onto this target, can't deal the damage. Dry Ranger pew-pewing from a long distance away. Shackle Shot will not connect. And yo, he's thinking of going in. He actually will get right onto the Wind Ranger and take her down. And Vice just being picked apart systematically.
Radiant's current
This game was not even close. DMG gets chucked into the tower, no problem. Okay, maybe he is a bit of a problem afterwards. But still, it's hardly a win. And yo, he's still going in. Hurricane Pike is a pretty good item, but he can't deal with the evasion of this Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin able to survive regardless. Gets out to the IO. IO gonna be healing him up.
has fallen.
Vice, can we say they've held? These 2 buybacks are going to be able to get a kill onto BDZ. But they've lost a full lane of Rax. They've got an exposed Rax mid. Roshan is going to be approaching minimum timer in just a second. I don't see any good news for Vice. I just don't see it. I mean, somehow you're going to have to get a very clean kill on, I mean, any one target as the Wind Ranger. And then from there, probably just kite it out, try and wait for the focus fire to come back up while it's still 4 versus 5. There's just so many BKBs here on Execration. Hey, Palace, he's doing okay. But he needs so much more farm. I actually don't really like him going for the Manta style. I think in this very desperate moment, you just need more damage. I think go for the MKB. And our Phantom Assassin, what can I say? Top of net worth. Hit all the item timings that needed to be hit. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a Rapier, changing his mind on that MKB. I think if you get Roshan, you can actually quite safely go for a Rapier. And a Rapier this early, you can one-shot people, even cores, with the crit. And Vice, what can you do? The ball is in Execration's court. And showing your Draw Ranger down here like this is always a very big risk because the relocate can happen anytime. Execration being very systematic
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
are going to be securing vision for themselves as well. But Vice going for a very big wraparound. Desperation moment part 2. We'll see who they can find. They need to get a very clean kill to begin with. But PA in the front lines is not that. Crush comes in. Bob, though, he will survive just barely with that evasion. But it doesn't really matter when the rest of your team is going to get slaughtered by the Phantom Assassin. They take down Bob in the end anyway. Wind Run can only last so long. And now what? How are you ever going to take down the PA in a timely fashion, let alone the Leshrac? And Leshrac goes forward. He actually swaps in Samael, who is able to roll to safety.
Dire's structures are fortified.
So they won't be losing anyone else, but how are they ever supposed to hold on to these racks? Fortunately for them, there's a tier 2 tower down bottom. Aggressive swap in. I don't really see this working out well. Slaughter, he is taking a lot of damage, but he's got that eye out healing out this entire time. And Slaughter in the front lines, he will not die. He will just tank this tier 4, tank everything. And Vice get destroyed in 27 minutes. Well, that was not pretty, Vice. It was not meant to be. They were never supposed to get up to a 4-series streak. Execration going to be putting them in their place. And with this, actually, Execration, if they win the next game, I think their chances of advancing into the playoffs are just as good as Vice's. So a very important one coming up in just a second. We'll see if Execration can take it.